right, looks like we have everyone here.
Jim, are you all set to start?
I think we're all set.
Are we ready for anyone?
Nope, no, I think the whole group's here.
That must be me.
What's that?
I have some background noise.
Oh, gotcha.
He's watching last year's NFL draft.
I'd like to open the March 25th meeting of the Planning Board. Jim, can you read the why we're allowed to do this via Zoom this evening?
Yep, absolutely. So pursuant to the Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 orders suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law and Governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting will be held via the Zoom online option. See the town website and information and instructions at the end of the agenda.
And the first thing on the agenda, Jim, is
the request for a continuation for 161 and 169 Maple Street. And I believe the applicant's representative is on the line. I believe that's Kim.
Kim, can you explain to why you're asking for a continuation?
Hi, yes, good evening. Thank you for your time. This is Kim Crow on behalf of the We've had talked about a lot of different things at the last meeting that the board had asked for, and we are diligently getting those done. Some of the parts of it were updating the plans to the flagpole, or I'm sorry, not the flagpole, but the 60-foot pole that would be able to tell the height, and some other aspects of the site that the fire chief had expressed concerns about, and with the state fire code. And the board had also asked for a noise peer review, which we did pay for, and it was just received a couple of days ago. So we haven't really had enough response to that, and we're still finalizing the plan based on a request for waiver that we had sent to the fire department and the response back. So we're looking at getting the plans updated and incorporate additional pre-detail also. So we had just requested a continuance so that we could talk about everything next time we get together. And we had asked.
How many requests have we had on this in the past?
This application before the planning board right now, this would be I believe the third meeting of this this project.
Why do I feel like this has gone on annually?
Well, this has been an ongoing issue that the town and the landowner has been working on. Obviously, they have been before the planning board in the past, and they have been in front of conservation for some time. But yes, this hearing has been open since October.
I'd like to open up to the board members. Ryan?
Jim, is there a sense of when we should continue to?
So the request, I believe, is for April 8th, so just the next meeting. There's not a ton. I mean, the plan certainly could be updated, as Kim has mentioned. for the items that were requested. I think as you guys have in your package, the fire chief's recommendations should be reflected on the plans as well, or not the recommendations, but the requirements should be reflected on the plan as well. The peer review engineer for the noise study has stated that they are available for the April 8th, which I asked since the request was for that date.
All right. So I think, happy to continue it. I think what Bill is alluding to is that in other hearings, that there has been a sense of we wait and we continue hearings, and then we get to the hearing and whatever was supposed to be done or what was promised wasn't actually there. And then, oh, give us some more time. And it sort of limps along. And I know that this has been the subject of many discussions over many years. So if there's a good faith attempt to put together the information that we need to move forward, and that's one thing. But if this is just, lurching and lurching as it's been done, and what I understand to be the conservation process was also similarly drawn out over a very long period of time, I wouldn't be inclined to continue it. But if this is like sort of the one and only request, then fine.
Right. We did at the last meeting, we had come in with the updated plans and had a long discussion about the work that had been done up until that point, and a good discussion with the board over the concerns and the different things that they were looking for. And so we could have had the plans together for today, but where the noise report wasn't coming in until sometime this week, and knew we wouldn't have a good opportunity to respond to that between now and the meeting, I thought it made sense to have a more comprehensive response on April 8th, where we could, hopefully that'll be the last meeting, and we'll see what the discussion comes to, if there's, where that stands after.
Understood, and I appreciate that. I mean, that's a thoughtful consideration on your part and a practical consideration. It's just appreciate where we're coming from, where we see this and other proceedings that involve this particular applicant drag on extensively.
No, I do understand the conservation process was, I don't know exactly what it was, 18 months or so. I mean, I was only at one of those meetings and I wasn't involved with the rest of the process, but I can guarantee you, we're certainly not looking to do that here. We'd like to get this done and over with and move on and try to get the stormwater. That was a really extensive design for a mulch yard, and making sure that the treatment of the mulch was being protected and not going into the system, and some unique aspects of the site. So I can guarantee that's not we have no benefit of doing that. It's just extra costs every meeting that happens. So,
well, thank you.
And your time, of course. I mean, we appreciate that you're all volunteers and you're giving your time to taking a look at this and other projects in the town. So we certainly don't want to draw that out either.
Well, thank you.
Dennis,
Yeah, I'm fine with it for this time.
Liz?
Yeah, I think it makes sense to wait until next meeting to have sort of that comprehensive response to the peer review and have the peer reviewer here. So I'm okay with it.
Bill?
Question for Jim. Jim, are we owed anything else? I saw the fire department's response, the sound came back. What else is due that we're supposed to be seeing?
Yeah, so there's some other things on the checklist that the applicant was going to be looking at. So Kim mentioned they needed to add a detail for at the board's request, a pole that would give the 60 foot in height, so that the fire chief could drive by and just note that it's lower than that pole. The detail for the fence that I know the board had called out, that needs to be accurate and consistent. I know we had talked about potentially moving the gate for the stormwater system, the maintenance gate, to more proper location. The emergency road around needed to be wider, but that's part of the fire code and will be addressed through that. And also the turning radius. I know the board had discussed the turning radius out of the site, making sure that it's proper and can be achieved.
I guess I would ask the applicant if they think they can have that ready for our meeting in April.
We do. I spoke with the engineer at the end of last week. They're still looking at the, excuse me, the truck turning parts of it, but the updates to the plans themselves have been done, and it's trying to figure out a resolution with the fire chief response, the truck turning, and some other particular aspects of the site. But the engineer said that wouldn't be a problem to get the plans in timely, said Jim had an opportunity to review them before April 8th.
So,
Jim, I have a few comments. I'm going to echo what Brian said. It seems like this is going on in an inordinate amount of time. It seems like whenever we make some headway, there's a stall. It lasts until the business season's ready to open. This has gone on far too long. I can tell you, and I think some people will, a former member who now has moved away and lives down south, was not keen on giving continuances. I don't think he'd be in favor of this, based on the reasoning from the attorney. I can see the need for it. However, one thing that I picked up on was, Kim, you indicated that you hope to have this finished at the next meeting. Jim, based on what we know now, is that realistic?
Well, it all depends on everyone's engineers and their teams, I guess. I think the noise based on the responses might be a challenge to get it done by the next meeting, but I guess we can have our fingers crossed that everything is achievable at the next meeting.
Hypothetically, what is the recommendation that was provided to the applicant from our peer review in regards to noise?
There's a lot of updating that needs to be done. I think and I think we kind of knew that the last go around that the applicant's noise engineer or sound engineer was lacking in some areas in their analysis, and the peer review, the first go around of the peer review, kind of demonstrates that there's it's lacking in terms of the local bylaw as well as the state bylaw.
So they have to meet the threshold by April 8th of not only the state bylaw, but our own bylaw, correct?
Right, yeah, so I think realistically, having our engineer in to, go over the ins and outs of that analysis, and maybe having, the applicant's team there to explain how they're going to achieve it, makes sense at the next meeting.
I agree.
Yeah, and also, meanwhile, the rest of the plan certainly could be updated in accordance with, the checklist and everything else.
I would entertain a motion for a continuance.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Just to clarify, to April 8th, is that right, Brian?
Yep.
And Jim, do we need to extend any other dates?
Amy and I will take a look at that and confirm and get with Kim if need be.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll be happy to, of course, sign the continuance. I believe we might need one, but I can't remember the exact date that was on the last one that we signed.
Okay.
And is it viable to have a representative besides the report from the police and the fire department at that meeting?
I can speak with the deputy fire chief and see if he's available to attend as well.
Okay. Any other discussion? Continuance to April 8th? I'll ask all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 The motion passes unanimously. I'm sorry, excuse me, opposed? Abstaining, that motion passes unanimously. Kim, thank you very much for attending tonight.
All right. And thank you all for your time.
First meeting in April.
See you April 8th. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And next on the agenda is going to be the alternate member.
Yeah, so at the last meeting we had two really great I think candidates for the alternate member, and speaking with the select board, they're simply interested in your recommendation before moving forward. So ultimately it would be, it's up to you guys to provide that recommendation. I don't know if there's one the board is leaning towards more than other.
Brian, what is your feeling?
So I don't know their names, Jim. So
You want me to read them out to you?
yes, please.
So it's Jeremy Brotman was the first gentleman, and the second gentleman was Robert Lucier.
Okay. So I think both of them would make great additions to the board. I was impressed with both of them, but Robert is just far more qualified to serve on the board than in a lot of ways in what he does professionally. So I think my recommendation would be for him for that reason.
Dennis?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with Brian. I think Robert can step in and be right up to speed with the board.
Phil?
I agree, but I'd also like to acknowledge and thank both of them for stepping up and being willing to get involved, and always recommend attending town meetings and things like that and stay involved. But yeah, I agree with Mr. Lucier being the one I would recommend.
Liz?
Yeah, I think Jeremy seemed very passionate about joining the board based on his personal experience, but I think I would have to go with Robert, who has the engineering background, to sort of bring that experience to the board. Could be invaluable. So that's my recommendation.
I concur. I think both candidates were very strong. I think Robert has a lot of enthusiasm. I think we need to find a place for him, and I think that should be laid out to the select board. But I also think Mr. Lucier adds a lot to the board. Having a civil engineer, I could not imagine a planning board for a town of almost any size having the expertise that this board has. It'll enhance the broad base of our knowledge. It'll benefit the town, benefit the developers. So I would entertain a motion at this point.
So I'll move to recommend Robert Lucier as the alternate associate member position.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion on the floor to fill the alternate position with Mr. Lucier. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstaining? That motion passes unanimously. Jim, I notice we have another person viewing this evening. I see Cole 12703.
Could be just an interested resident.
Do they want to say anything?
No, we are just an interested resident.
Okay, I want to thank you for participating.
Oh, that's fine. We try to participate in all of the meetings.
And I encourage you to continue. Any questions, please, please let us know.
Thank you.
Jim, what else do we have?
Just tonight is the minutes. That's it for this evening, March 11th minutes. And then next board meeting, we won't be so lucky. It'll be a pretty robust meeting, but I'll fill you guys in at that time.
Have we all had a chance to review the minutes from our last meeting? Any corrections that need to be made? I would entertain a motion to accept the minutes as written. Don't all jump at once.
I was gonna let somebody else do it.
So
I'll make
moved.
a motion.
And that was made by Phil, seconded by Liz.
Second.
All in favor of the minutes as written, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstaining? That motion also passes unanimously. I want to thank, before we go any further, Brian, before we adjourn, do you have anything you want to add?
Oh, you mean my sign off or?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Good night, Bellingham.
With that said, I'd like to call for motion to adjourn.
I'm not doing it.
Dennis?
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Phil, you want to second that?
Oh, I'll second that.
Okay. There's a motion on the floor to adjourn. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 That motion also passes unanimously. To the people in the public, thank you very much for participating. I encourage you to continue to participate. As Jim said, some meetings are more robust than others, but we value your input. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Hey, guys.
Aye.
Thank
Bye.
you.